I'm O.W. Root, and this is Pleasant Peninsula. Just this last week, I was in the Leelanau Peninsula, down at Glen Arbor. If you've never been up to Glen Arbor, it is without a doubt one of the most beautiful places in Michigan, hands down, hands down. Sleeping Bear Dunes, Glen Lake. You stand on the beach and you look over the hazy water, and you see the Manitou Islands rising up from the water. It's paradise, really. And I posted these photos online. It was just a beautiful day. It was sunny, much like today. Clear blue skies with smattering of nice white little clouds littering the ceiling of the earth. And I received a comment from someone on Twitter, and they said, as someone who's never been to this part of the world, it's disorienting or confusing. I don't remember exactly what they said, but they said something to the effect of, it's strange to contrast these with the photos from just a few weeks ago or a month ago of snow and ice. And I laughed at that comment because I realized how right it is and how I forget that. We take that for granted in Michigan. We forget just exactly how extreme these changes are. Most of the world doesn't have beaches that look like the Arctic, that are covered in ice and snow, and just a gray, foreboding sky for months. And then, within a couple weeks, they are practically tropical beaches, if you look at them, really. I mean, there's a color of Lake Michigan, sometimes turquoise. Happens in the spring, fall, and summer. And it's this turquoise color, it's this beautiful bluish green, and it's stunning. You would never know that it's covered with ice half the year. And it's interesting how we take things for granted because, we take things for granted. Anybody who's lived by the lake knows how it goes. You move to the lake and you say, oh my gosh, I'm going to go down every single night for the sunset. You might do that, but then after a few months, maybe after a few years, you kind of stop and you just sort of think of the lake as being the lake. And the magic is gone, or you're just not you've taken it for granted. It's become normal. And sometimes it takes an outside comment from an observer who's never been, an observer who hasn't been desensitized to the beauty or taken the beauty for granted or desensitized to the extremes to remind us or remind me how unique it is, how unique this place is that we live. In many ways, life in Michigan is like life on high contrast. Just a week before being in Glen Arbor, I was on the beach at Fisherman's Island in Charlevoix, or just south of Charlevoix. And there were ice chunks still on the rocks there, melting in the shade. And I was wearing no coat because it was 60 degrees as well. I mean, that is an extreme. That is jarring. It's life on high contrast. That's what life in Michigan is. And I think to fully embrace life in Michigan means to fully embrace that high contrast and see the beauty in that. Even if we forget it sometimes. Rogers City. Do you know the name Rogers City? Have you ever heard of Rogers City? Rogers City. Probably doesn't ring any bells. If you're like me, you've never been, or until recently, or you don't ever go, generally, to the northeast corner of Michigan. I grew up in West Michigan on the lake, and we never went east of Mackinac City. Never. We would go to Grand Haven, go to Holland, we'd go to Traverse City, Manistee, Harbor Springs, Petoskey, Charlevoix. You never venture up here. You just don't. It's like the forgotten coast. And Rogers City is one of those forgotten places. Rogers City is directly across, basically directly across, at almost the exact same latitude from Charlevoix, 81 miles across. And I've got some stats here. It's almost the exact same kind of town. It's also on the water. Charlevoix is on the west. Rogers City's on the east. Charlevoix is on Lake Michigan. Rogers City is on Lake Huron. Charlevoix has a population of 2,348. Rogers City, 2,850. Charlevoix founded in 1879. Rogers City founded in 1877. They're almost the same age, the same latitude, the same population, and both on beautiful bodies of water, but they are totally different. Charlevoix is a tourist town. It's a resort town. And it's exactly what we all know what Charlevoix is. But nobody knows what Rogers City is because nobody's ever been to Rogers City, because nobody ever goes up to the northeast corner. So why is it that this town that is just as beautiful, you go to the lake, you go to the beach in Rogers City, it's stunning. It is. I have to say, the beach in Rogers City might be more beautiful than the beach in Charlevoix. And I know you probably don't believe me, because you've probably only been to the beach in Charlevoix, but it's true. It's big, it's deep, it's beautiful, it's lovely, but we don't go there. Why? History is like a snowball. How we think about things, once things get going, they just keep going and going until they stop or not. Charlevoix had a lumbering history way back in the 1800s, but then all lumber was gone, so that dried up. They left. And just as that was leaving, it started becoming a tourist hub, a resort area. People from Chicago, a lot of steamships coming up, bringing people up to summer. And so it started to develop this resort reputation. Started building cottages, summer homes, and it became a summering place for leisure, for wealthy people. Same thing didn't happen in Rogers City. If you're coming from Chicago, you're not going to go all the way over to Rogers City. You're going to go to Charlevoix. Rogers City never stopped being a working town. Charlevoix transitioned into while Charlevoix transitioned into being a summering place, a resort town. Rogers City worked, Charlevoix played. And to a certain degree, it's still that way. Rogers City works, Charlevoix plays. And you can tell the difference. As I said, Charlevoix is a tourist town. We all know exactly what that means. It's packed with coffee shops, restaurants, a ton of cars everywhere, people carrying shopping bags, buying clothes for 3 times more than they should be paying for them. Rogers City is just a town on the lake. That's it. It's slow, it's quiet. There's no traffic. There's no stores with jacked up prices. It's just a little town on the lake. And you walk down in the neighborhood right by the beach, and it's quiet. You walk by houses that are just normal, modest houses. You can hear the waves from those windows. And they're not massive houses that are jacked up for Airbnbs or anything like that. They're just normal houses, the normal families living there. And it's refreshing. It's beautiful. It almost reminds you of a real deep, aggressive normalcy. This is just life. It's just a town on the lake, and it's beautiful. And when I imagine living in one of those houses, 4-minute walk to the beach, it's not crammed up with traffic, not massive amounts of tourists. Imagine just walking down the street to the beach and walking back for dinner. It sounds beautiful. And it's funny how, as I said, it's just as beautiful there. The beach is just as nicer really. Quieter, more affordable. But we don't go there. People go to Charlevoix. It's funny how that works. How real estate works. How trends work. We just get kind of stuck in a rut. But the truth is, there's opportunities outside of that rut. When I think about, as I said, moving to Rogers City, it sounds pretty nice. A small house, not far from the water, sound of the waves coming through the small windows. Actually affordable. Sounds pretty nice. Maybe there's more opportunity than we're aware of if we just broaden our lens a little bit. I'm O.W. Root from Michigan Enjoyer.